They can write all this crap all they want. They will not earn the dignity of my response.
Jesus, Gary, what about us? Do we deserve a response?
About this?
Yeah.
No.
Are you kidding me? I got 100 kids unpacking boxes in Denver right now because we told them you would do what it takes to win this thing. I told them. People are sacrificing for you.
And I'm not sacrificing what? Should I sacrifice my privacy, Bill, my self-respect? And it won't just be me that gets dragged down. None of those kids you're talking about will work another campaign where some candidate doesn't have to account for who comes and goes from their bedroom, and that is just the beginning.
Okay, but we're not talking about that right now.
I am talking about that.
We're talking about how you get through today without pissing away everything we've all worked for on this campaign.
Bill, this campaign is about the future, not rumors, not sleaze, and I care about the sanctity of this process, whether you do or do not.
It's not a biopic.
Yeah.
It's not a movie about one person. It's a movie about a moment. It's a movie in which we were all kind of presented with an idea. And it's a very tricky idea. I think the Heart story is a great pH test on what flaws we are willing to put up with in our president. And people will watch this movie, and they have, and they argue about what the point of it is. There is no good guys, there's no bad guys, there is no message to this movie. The movie is a mirror. Yeah. And I've seen people in the audience argue about, you'll have one person who says, oh, wow, that's a president I wish we could have had. And the next person says, no, this is the first moment of the Me Too movement, and there's truth to power. And this is a man who was a womanizer, and that says a lot about how he views women. So I think there's a real conversation about what flaws and this idea that we want to know our politicians as people. We don't want to know them as simply ideas. We want to know them as human beings. And once we decide, all right, we want to know them as human beings, how do journalists decide what is important, what is relevant? That's the question that the movie is asking the audience. Yeah. What do you think is relevant?
The boat in which Gary Hart was thought to have sort of done some things that he shouldn't have done was called Monkey Business. Yeah. Do you think Gary Hart becomes president if the boat is not called Monkey Business?
I mean, it's a great question, and I think your question really gets at the heart of it, and it gets at the heart of how we remember stories, and how the story plays with our memory. The boat was called Monkey Business, which is hilarious. And because of that, it becomes a very popular news story. It also becomes a popular news story because on the same day that this Herald piece comes out, there's a New York Times piece in which Hart has a long interview, and during the interview, he said to the journalist, if you think my life is so interesting, just follow me around. Yeah. And it later became equated as though in the weeks prior, he said, follow me, the journalist did, and they found this story, which is not what happened. But that's not how we remember it. No. And I guess that's part of what this movie is about, is the idea of storytelling, how we remember things. And you have to remember, this is a candidate that walked away from politics forever in a week. The decision happened very quickly, and his life kind of was never the same. Donna Rice, the woman that he met on the boat, her life was definitely never the same. It's interesting, even in the years since Monica Lewinsky, there's been this turn. We've kind of re-understood that moment, and I think we all feel shitty about the way that we handled that moment and the way we treated Monica Lewinsky. And she's now, because of the TED Talk and because of her reemergence, is being heroized a little. But that hasn't happened for Donna Rice.
But you treat Donna Rice quite well in this film in the sense that you actually make her out, rather than just being the floozy, you show her as the actual, the person.
Her watching of the film was one of the most important for me. And we're playing with the perception. I know people know that there is this boat and that he's going to meet her on the boat. And I know that the presumption is that the movie will be salacious and he'll come in and there'll be some sort of kind of lively, fun 1980s pop scene on a boat with a blonde woman. Because when I told people I was doing the Gary Hart story, they would go, "Oh, Monkey Business." And what was her name? What was that blonde's name? And they would talk about her as though she were a joke and not a human being. So we play with that perception, and when we get to that scene, you don't even meet her. And you only meet her in the second half of the film, once everything is broke, and her life has been stolen away, and she's crying. And this is a frenetic movie where the camera's always moving, and the camera finally suddenly stops, and you have to kind of reckon with your own perceptions and what you brought to the movie.